Hello again, YouTube. It's Jonathan at the Piano Lesson. Gonna just give you a whole bunch of stuff today and kind of a big potpourri, which is kind of like a smorgasbord or a melange of jazzy things. So what should we do today? Let's do a quick review of the tetrachord scale fingerings, okay? Because I did that last week. I think it's really not only important, but it's very, as far as I know, pretty novel. I don't know of anyone really that does this, and you will be the beneficiaries because you will be the only ones who will actually know these things. But remember, we're using our major scale examples. We focus on white key scales. I'm going to talk about black key scales this week a little bit, but focusing on, remember, every major scale can be thought of as two disjunct, meaning not sharing notes, two just disjunct major tetrachords, right? So this group of notes functions as the first four notes of G and the last four notes of C. Now, when you're learning scales, you have two things to learn. You have the notes and the fingers, okay? And if you try to do them both at the same time, you will, I'm not going to say you will fail, but you will be making the process unnecessarily complicated and potentially muddying the waters. So we learn the scales first with the same fingers. See what I'm doing? I'm just taking my left hand, putting it on top of my right, and playing the same notes that I played in my right. Now I'm playing them in my left, right? So that's a great way to do it. No thumbs, because early piano technique did not use the thumb. The thumb is really not a finger. It's opposable. It goes the opposite way. You can use it, but not for this exercise. That way, you're only focusing on using one set of fingerings for all 12 scales. You could do that with anything. D flat. Right, it's D flat to A flat to E flat. So we're going by fifths, and you're learning fifths on the piano. So you learn those groups first. Then you have to figure out, okay, if I'm going to play the scale with one hand, what fingers am I going to use? And we all know there's a million scale books out there, but here's the better way to do it. Typically people think of the scale fingerings in terms of a group of three notes, let's say, so C, D, E, and a group of four notes, F, G, A, B. All right, and then the last note is C, right? That's our finishing note, but typically people think of it this way because we usually cross the thumb there. See, when if we're going to go up another octave, we're going to cross the thumb there. So it's a group of three notes plus a group of four notes, right? That's dealing with the fingering. 1, 2, 3, right? And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if you're going to go up another octave, you got to tuck the thumb under, right? Or you end with a pinky. But really, we need to think of it in terms of music, C to F, okay? And G to C, right? And those are our tetrachords, our major. That's the major tetrachord. Group of four notes. Now, when you practice the fingering, okay, so the finger will be 1, 2, 3, 1, right? That's the first group you practice. So 1, 2, 3, 1. When you're first learning scales, and then you go to G, and then D, and A, right, and E, and B. Okay, it's not going to work on F sharp, all right, ideally, and it's not going to work on C sharp or D flat, and it's not going to work on A flat, and it's not going to work on E flat, and it's not going to work on B flat either, and it's not even going to work on F because that's flipped around. This is a group of four plus a group of three, and then we end the fourth finger. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 scales where you're going to have that fingering in the right hand. And in the left hand, what would it be? Well, it would be this. All right? which we already practiced. You know, if you do this scale, or you do this, right? But that would be the fingering for the lower tetrachord for C, G, D, A, E. Now B would be an exception. We'd start with the fourth finger, so B is not included, but F would work. That's perfectly fine. So the exception for the fingering is F in the right hand and B in the left hand, but it's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fingerings that would use this in the left hand. Okay, back to the right hand. Then, and then when we go 2, 3, 4, 5, if we're going to end, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, if we're gonna end. So you want to be able to practice. Right? And then if you're going to go up another octave, well, it would be 2, 3, 4, 1, right? That would be the crossing the thumb under, right? So it would be 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. So this group, just to reviewing from last week, this group, you could use this fingering, 1, 2, 3, 1 if you're starting the scale, 2, 3, 4, 5 if you're ending the scale, or 2, 3, 4, 1 if you're continuing the C scale. 2, 3, 4, 1, right? 3 different fingerings for those white key scales. Now, black key scales, we have I mentioned our corresponding fingers. So a group of these two fingers go with these keys. These 3 fingers go with these keys. Those are your corresponding starting fingers for those scales. So you start on D flat, 2, and end with 2, 3, end with 3, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I could start with 3 or 2 if it's possible, but get into good habits of starting with 4, because if you descend and you end with a finger other than 4, like 2 or 3, you're going to get stuck. You're going to run out of fingers. So you've got to throw the fingers out ahead of you. Right? You got to throw those out. Now, thinking in terms of tetrachords, okay, right hand is a little bit different. Remember we said that's the tetrachord group 1, 2, 3, 4 for F, and then it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 1 for F if you're going up another octave. So actually that scale's a little bit easier perhaps. And this is the upper portion of B flat, 4. Starting B flat with 4. That's how you practice it. 4, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 4. Okay? That's the fingering for B flat. B flat, C, D, E flat. 4, 1, 2, 3. So you go back 4, 1, 2, 3, and then go backwards 2, 1, 4. That little package of notes, you want to be able to throw your hand on the keyboard and just churn that out, okay? Now you could think, I mentioned that major scales, they're two disjunct tetrachords, they don't share notes, but actually, if you think of the upper portion of the B flat scale and the lower portion of the B flat scale, they kind of share notes in a sense, right? They share this B flat, that common note. So that's a very interesting exercise to practice, where you start, you go up a fourth, down a fourth. Now, if I did that with C, what would that sound like? Up a fourth, and then down a fourth. Yeah, right, because I'm throwing, because this is the fingering, right? That's the fingering. So I'll go up. That's a really nice little exercise. G, up a fourth. Remember, cross that thumb. Cross. So you're learning to pivot. You have this pivot point, okay? You can go either direction, and you have your nice bridge, and you're ready to go either direction. D. Now, isn't that a nicer way to practice than going you know, or, you know, 2 octaves all the way up and down, or 3 octaves, you know. You got to learn how to do that, or 4 octaves. I don't really practice scales. I should practice scales more. But be a little more creative. A, going up a 4th. Okay? Starting a scale, you know, scales in real life don't just come out of the box nice and tidy like that, right? So you have to be a little bit creative in your practicing. But that's 4, 1, 2, 3. All right? E flat, 3, 1, 2, 3. So let's do the upper portion of that scale. Let's see, B flat, C, D, E flat. We already did F, G, A, B flat. Yeah, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's the B flat major scale. The E flat scale. I know this looks silly just doing all this with the markers, but I just kind of have fun. I think it's fun. It's a little weird, but it's fun. E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D, E flat. Okay, there's our 2 tetrachords, 2 major tetrachords. We just did this one. So the E flat, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, E flat, F, G, A flat, and then B flat, C, D, E flat. So 3, 1, 2, 3. That's our first group, and then 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And that's nice because we're ready for the other octave. We're in the middle of our hand. It may look harder, but it's really easier to play if you start in the middle of your hand. It's harder actually to play when you start on the thumb because it's harder to balance your weight properly, and it's just to my way of thinking, it's just awkward. That's why you have raised black keys on the piano. There is a logic to it. You know, there's a anatomy to it. All right, and then if you go down a 4th again, 3rd finger A flat, 3, 4, 1, 2. So that's another little package of notes that you gotta learn. 3, 4, 1, 2 on A flat. So A flat, B flat, C, D, flat. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and then 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat, F, G, and A flat. A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat, F, G, A flat. Right? Those are your 2 tetrachord groups. Okay, so 3, 1. That's the one to practice, and this. Right, and so you can put the 2 together. Right, 3, 3. And when you go to the piano in general, for any piece of music, it's nice to associate the middle finger with these notes, you know, just as a default position. You might not use it, but it's just kind of nice to do that. And then D flat, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Let's have some room here. D flat, E flat, F, G flat. All right, that little tetrachord there. D flat, E flat, F, G flat. Sorry if I'm smushing it in here, but 2, what did I do? Yeah, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2. There's the group. All right, there's the group. 2, 2, 3, 1, 2. That's the one you have to learn. Little package of notes. And then 3, 1, 4, 3, 1, 4, 2. Oh, excuse me, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. That's the fingering. All right? Not 2, 3, 1, 2. Now you could do that, but it's typically associated with the D flat. I mean, it works, right? I could use that fingering with a group of notes, but I want to learn this one first. 3, 4, 1, 2. So I can put them together. Now, again, going back to our up a fourth, down a fourth, 2, 3, 1, 2. See, pretty neat, huh? And what did I do? Then the next one is G flat, okay, G flat, right? Second finger on G flat. So G flat, A flat, B flat, C. G flat, A flat, B flat, C flat, D flat, E flat, F, and G flat. All right, there's our two tetrachords. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. There's our, remember that fingering? What fingering did we use that with? Well, we'll go back. 2, 3, 4, 1, and then 2, 3, 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay. D flat. Excuse me. G flat. A flat, B flat, C flat, D flat, E flat, F natural, and back to G flat. How many flats in the key of G flat? You got to know that key. Come on, it's 6 flats. Okay, it's 6 flats. B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, and G flat in order of what? Fifths. That's right. All in in fifths. Okay, that's how the first flat in any key signature at the beginning of the music. If we're looking at a key signature, I'm going to just shift over here for a second, but you're going to see third line, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, and do you go up or down? G flat. Okay, yeah. That's just to kind of keep them on the staff. B flat, E flat. We don't go up here. I'd have to draw a ledger line to do the A flat. So we go down, and then B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat. I don't go down here because I'd have to use a ledger space, so I go up. But up a fourth, down a fifth, up a fourth, and down, yeah, what did I do? Yeah, up a fourth, down a fifth, up a fourth, because that's the B flat, E flat, A flat, yeah, D flat, G flat, line, fifth. Fifths are line, fourths are line space. That's how you tell the difference, okay? This is line space, and this is line, okay? Those are odd numbered intervals. Okay, so that's another, that group of notes, right? And this group of notes. And then if I kept going down another fifth, well, we're back to that fingering, which is like C or G for B, right? 2, 3, 4. So 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, because we have to continue up an octave, right? We don't just we don't go 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Because then we're stuck. Then there's nowhere to go. Okay. Another good way to practice scales is to play the note 4 times, hold the note down, don't let it up, and repeat the next note. And raise your fingers up. Big stretch. And why do you do this? It helps you to keep the weight down on the keyboard, right? Not to pull out of the weight out of the keys. To play legato, right? And it's like an anchor, and it gives you a chance to digest what you're doing, tossing the finger at the key, like a little whip. Now, the other thing you can do, the variation, is you can use a dotted rhythm. Why would you want to do that? So you practice, you train your muscles to move quickly to the next key, but you do it in a very controlled manner. So you give yourself a time to think ahead and aim. And to keep that weight down. This was really like meat and potatoes for me when I was learning, and you could take any passage of music that, you know, is scalar, let's say, like Mozart or Bach, right? And then you have this connection. Now, I will tell you that that's a very substantive sound, a much more substantive sound. You can get tired playing that way, so, you know, we don't always play that way. But that's a really good workout. Boy, you just do a few scales like that. That's quite. In fact, you could take one finger and just kind of stretch your other fingers up against. This is called the fall board. Just kind of get a nice stretch there. See, get a nice stretch in there, you know, and look at that. That's C. And you could even, you know, stretch and kind of hold the finger down, and you won't hurt yourself, you know. Famous last words, right? But no, you're not going to hurt yourself. And it's a little tricky. You can kind of like, I got the fourth finger stabilizing my hand and stretch, kind of stretch with the third finger. You don't have to get all the fingers, let's say, but that's kind of the feeling I want in my hand. You know, I want the feeling of like almost like I'm pushing away from the keyboard and my fingers moving independently. And I have that connection. It's kind of pretty athletic. That's a lot to do. Okay. That was, boy, whew, that was, I'm sweating. I'm really sweating from that. Let's take a minute and just do a little playing here for a second. So, quick overview of all of the chord patterns that one needs to learn. All the chord patterns, not all the chord patterns, and I'd be, you know, here forever, right? But there's a handful of chord patterns, handful of harmonies that musicians need to know to make music. So what's the first one that comes to mind? Well, typically primary chords, blues, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1. Blues would be all dominant chords. So instead of just F, B flat, F, C, F, it would be F7, B flat 7, C7, and then F. Right. So that's your now. Beyond that, right, anyone who's been around jazz knows about what we call 2-5-1. So 2 meaning the second a chord that's built on the second note in the key. If we're in the key of F, that chord would be F, G minor. And typically we use 7 chords, right? So G minor 7, fifth chord is C7, F, G, A, B flat, C7, and then F major 7. Those are the 3 types of 7 chords that we really need to know. What's the difference? Well, major 7 uses the 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 7th note in the scale. F7 just has a flatted 7th, E flat, F, A, C, E flat, okay? Those are, you know, there's so much to know, right? But if you just focus on the things that are gonna give you the most benefit in the shortest period of time. I'm not saying short circuiting or skipping things, okay? Because we're not really skipping things, but you know, here's F major 7. You know, I've seen so many people they studied music for a long time and they're still confused about 7th chords, and it's silly, okay? Those are the 3 7th chord types that are most important and are often confused. But F major 7, root, 3rd, 5th, 7th of the scale in the key of F. All right, we're just doing the key of F. This would be considered a flatted 7. This is a flatted 7 and a flatted 3rd. All right, so F major 7, F7, F minor 7. Now, these 2 chords are not in the key of F, all right? But those types of chords are in the key of F. So if I'm going up the scale, playing the notes of the scale, playing, but harmonizing it. The second chord is G minor 7, G, B flat, D, F, and the fifth chord is C, E, G, B flat. That's C7, okay? So when I play those in the right order, 2, 5, 1, and rather than playing them all in what we call root position, we're going to take one of those chords, the C7, let's say, and we're going to play it in second inversion. The top two notes are going to be down here so that they're close to the G chord, G minor 7 chord. And we do that so that there's an economy of motion, right? So it's easy to just get to, and also because they have common tones, okay? I mean, both the G chord, the G minor 7 chord, and the C7 chord both share G and B flat. And then the top two notes stay the same, C and E, and we drop the bottom two notes. And that's F major 7. So C7 and F major 7 share two notes. And that is called voice leading. So you're taking the chords and you're playing them smoothly, smooth voice leading in a pattern, and that's your 2, 5, 1. And this is in the key of E flat, and this is in the key of D flat, and this is in the key of B, and this is in the key of A. And you need to be able to do those if you want to be able to play music. And that I went through 6 keys, F by whole steps, F, E flat, D flat, B, A, G, F. And then I have to go up another half step and do them in the other 6 keys. Key of B flat, A flat, G flat. So I went through these 6 keys, right? That's, that's pretty much what you want to get good at. If you do just that, I say just that, that's a lot, isn't it? But major scales, primary chords, and 2, 5, 1s, okay? If you can get that together, boy, can you play a lot of music. I'm telling you, you can do it. And last little bit, you can put the chords and the scales together. So how would I do that? All right, real quick, if you play the scale, 2, 5, 1, and C, scale, both together. B flat. A flat. Get it? So you can start to coordinate both those concepts. But as usual, I gave you a lot of stuff to think about, but you can write me and if you have some questions. Okay, I'm going to get going. This is Jonathan at the Piano Lesson signing off. Until next time, adios.